Hey guys, welcome back to Seller Sessions for part two with Dima. Yesterday we covered a lot of stories in the early part of his life leading up. And so today we're going to be focusing more on his businesses, more future thinking, and through these period of Amazon selling over the last 7 or 8 years, or maybe beyond that. Hello, Dima. Welcome back.
What's up, Danny? What's up, everybody, guys? It's so nice to see you again. And yesterday, a couple of you, quite few, reached out to me saying thank you for the podcast. So awesome. So I will hope we'll exceed your expectations again.
Cool. Let's pick up from then, from yesterday. Where were we, if you remember? We were at the
Yeah.
point.
Okay. Just a quick summary, guys. If you
Yeah.
was not yesterday with us, we basically was speaking about a journey, like my personal journey, going from the childhood to beginning of my entrepreneurship, and how I was developing mentally and conditioning myself to become a serious entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And what we're gonna have today. Today we're gonna just explain you like how to grow from being a mindset entrepreneur to actual serial entrepreneur with this success track record.
Yeah. Cool. So then we'll pick it up from the point, because you had said that we had a couple of the conversations or the stories yesterday where you got your stock was pulled in, wasn't it, at customs? We were talking about some Apple related, your products, but fell under the legislation as Apple products. Therefore, you didn't have the documentation. So where do you want to take it from here?
Yeah. So I will tell you like, okay, so just a quick recap. Yesterday, what was it's I got few fails in the business here when I just get started. So I was testing the water. I was trying to get into this e-commerce game, and trying to see the rules and how things works, um, how to operate correctly, how to stay legal within everything you do. And it hits me a couple times with a brick, trying to slam me and say, hey, like you have to do it more legit ways of the business. So generally speaking, yesterday I was saying, hey, I started my business with a drop shipping. Then trying to grow, I got into this not very legal way of reselling copy products on marketplaces. Then I've been slammed, and I see, okay, I can jump and try to make my business more legit. Promised myself that now everything should stay correct, and we start to sell Apple accessories on eBay. Then after we've been shut down for software update, we went on Amazon, and we growth rapidly to $500,000 sales per month. So after that, after Apple sent me this warning that I was selling a not licensed product, I decided to shut down my product, my store right away. I mean, like entire stock. And I took 2 months off to kind of clear my head. I went to one of the first my events with Amazing. Do you remember this ASM, Amazing Selling Machine?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a brilliant idea. The guys who created this project was completely insanely good. They created so many entrepreneurs. They gave so much opportunity to everybody. So it was all about like how people take this opportunity and grow forward. Of course, maybe their course was not perfect at that time because some people was evaluating. For me, that was the perfect opportunity to start. So I personally really respectful to Matt Clark and Jason, and I start to go to different events under their label. I start to go to Aruba event, and then we went to a couple Jason Floodland events. So I start to go to different events. But after I took this 2 months off, I decided, hey, I have to make something. I decided to go to completely different niche away from electronics, and I start to try to pick different products, and we decide to go to supplements. And I remember I start to buy every powder on Amazon to try to see what type of powders I like. And because my wife, she don't like to try new things, I was trying all these powders, and I think in about 2 days of testing, I at least throw up twice, because some powders was completely disgusting. And then I come to my wife saying, like I'm tired of this tastings, and we have to come up with some products that will be understandable for everybody.
Mhm.
So and I say like, I have an idea. Let's sell a green tea, because green tea is something that people understand. Now, even now, I drink in green tea. So if I tell you green tea, there's no reason for me to convince you this is a good product, especially if you like tea. Yeah, and we decide to go into the green tea market, and some serums for face. We started this business, and it was really tough at the beginning because I didn't know the production cycles. Before I was dealing just with China, everything was simple, but now I was dealing with the USA supply chain, and a lot of factories here, they're really delaying. So 1 month I'm in production and sales, 1 month I'm out of stock. And I was having a big troubles with my financials. So I start to explore credits. I was trying to sell some of my company, but then I come up with a brilliant idea. I say, hey, why I try to source the products if there's already competition on the market who doing well, so I can reach out directly to them and say, hey, while you're making money out of one listing, like, let you make money out of my brand as well. So you just supply products to me. So I call to one of my biggest competitors and I tell him, hey, can I guys buy from you? Because I was buying one pack of a green tea for $9.75, and I say like, okay, they asked me like, okay, what price would you like to accept? I say, okay, give me any offer. If it's good offer, I take it. If it's not, we just continue running our businesses separately. And the guy came back to me with the offer of $2.59, and I like, $2.59? No, I think it's too expensive, And he said, okay, I'm gonna drop the price to $1.86, including the delivery to your warehouse, and that was the deal. So from $9.75.
Can I ask? Where was the quality cut? Was there a cut in quality?
Look, it was one of my biggest competitors. The quality was amazing. I knew I dealing with a legit company. So and right from that moment, I start to make $60,000-$80,000 profit extra, just from that move, and things start to pick up. I fixed a lot of my financial issues because before it was very, very tough to grow the inventory. So the purchase price, guys, and sell price is very important. This gap, this ROI, if you fix this simple issue, you can become successful overnight. And now I want to tell you a story of me going into the more serious business. So I hired a business coach. I was feeling that I'm having a gap of knowledge of how to build a business. And this business coach, later I understood, never hire people without success track record, It was just a self-proclaimed business coach. Maybe he was coach some businesses before, and maybe they get some traction, But his advices towards my business, I will tell you where they end up to. So he started to coach me. Everything seems nice. He's a nice guy. He's like very positive also. And he said, hey, you have so much knowledge, so you probably you need to go to the partnerships. And like, yeah, it's a good idea. So I called to every my friend and say, hey, let's go into the partnership. All my friends, they told me, hey, we don't have money, but we would love to go into the partnership because we see your lifestyle and we want to have exactly the same one. So yeah. And I think I formed about 6 different partnerships like week later. So yeah. I'm thinking always big, like, so we start to go everywhere. I start to go with my friend and we start to build the businesses. And like, I end up this coach, he told me to get into the partnerships, but he didn't teach me how to pick the correct partnership. And I can tell you, after all these years, like I spent, I think it was the most miserable years of my life. It was 2 years of partnerships, while I start to lose traction in my main business, and I didn't gain any traction, and I lost connections with my friends because it became a very, very tough business operations wise. You come to the people, you say what to do, you come back 1 week later, nothing is done. So you take off the operations, and then it's become a complete disaster. So after 2 years of this struggle, I met with my friend one day. I went to the Business Mastery by Tony Robbins, and I learned a lot of cool techniques, like, and I came with the decision that I have to let my partners go So I came to my partners and I say, hey guys, okay, I'm gonna evaluate the business. Let's say the business costs $100,000. And we split it 50-50. And you decide, you give me 50K or I give you 50K. It's your decision. So I evaluating the price, you making decision, you keep the business or you let me keep the business. And surprisingly, none of my partners decide to keep the business. Everyone decide to exit. And my wife told me, Dima, you're an idiot. You was working for 2 years and now you paid every single friend 100,000, 170,000, everything out of your pocket. And you kept the companies. Long story short, look, one of the companies, the smallest one, I purchased at the price of $7,000. That was the deal, you know. It was a joke, but the business was making 2,000 profit per month. So the guy who gave me the company, who can just simply keep the company and running in 3 months would make his money back in 3 months. Along with that, just 1 year later, same exact company made me $300,000 profit in January from one company.
Yeah.
So I took the operations. I was need to hire some lawyers to involve in the cases, you know. Like, so anyway, there was lots of work to that I completed, you know. But same company that I purchased at $6,900 something $50 made me $300,000, and that guy, he become a truck driver, you know. Nothing wrong with that, you know. Yeah, everybody make decisions, you know. Like, but he was upset on me that I didn't convince him to buy out the company. And I said, like, listen, I gave opportunity to every single person, you know, and you guys didn't take it. So that was my experience with the partnerships, you know.
It's tough with partnerships because I've just done a deal recently across my businesses where I bought out a partner who's a 50% stakeholder, a silent partner. The moral of the story is you pay now, but it's cheaper later. Meaning, listen, know that what you've got to do in terms of the work anyway. So it might be costly up front. It might be hungry on your cash to do the buyout. We used a brokerage so that it was independent, if you like. But for me, I know from doing that is that, next couple of years is going to look different, but I know you back your own capabilities and your capacity. And, for a situation where for every pound you earn, it costs you 50 pence, to me, that's not good business sense now. Do you know what I mean? So what I'm doing is I take the risk now because I know what comes later. So I think yours is a similar story where you give the people the opportunity. Do you want to leave and be bought out, or do you want to stay? And you taking it on your own, everyone thinks you're mad, don't they, at the very beginning? But then when you look at your end of year and you've done the job, you know that you get, and if you get the results, it means you betted on yourself that you'll make the difference.
Danny, I think I can give right now, everyone who listening right now, I can give them a step-by-step explanation how to get into the partnerships, what to expect, and what would be the best, like from my personal opinion, from my personal experience. So it could be different partner by partner because I've seen before amazing partnerships, but I can also explain how these amazing partnerships was formed and what's the secrets, I would say, magic, to make it work. So secret number one, you have to understand what's your and your partner responsibilities in a company and why you going into the partnerships. Because I can tell you, majority of the people, they go into partnerships because they want just to reduce the risk of the failure. They think going into the partnerships reducing risk of the failure. But I can tell you from my personal experience, guys, going into the partnerships, opposite, it's increasing risks of your failure. Unless your partner is something that you cannot replace by acquiring extra capital. Because capital is not that hard in this world, Nowadays, capital can be acquired by banks. You can get the capital from the banks, from the credit cards. In the United States, it's as simplest as you can think. If you get a partner just because he want to give you money to start the company, maybe guys, you better start maybe smaller company and just continue growing year over year. And the moment your company get a traction, then you acquire capital from the strategic partner, and you're gonna get a way better terms than you starting from the zero. Because if someone goes to you into the partnerships 50-50 by just giving you capital, that's the worst partnership you can ever imagine, because it's like a marriage.
I agree.
Yeah, you agree, yeah? So that's probably a majority of the people who anytime someone contact me and saying, Dima, I have $200,000, let's go into the 50-50 partnership. I say, like, I have $200,000. Let me give you $200,000 and you work your ass off to make me money,
Yeah. So the similar position that I had is that I had some seed money that come in to get me going, but I kept creating more and more and more and more. And I used existing cash flow. And at the time I paid myself low wages. So it was always keep the money in the business, keep going. And then what will happen is I'll spin off and go, all right, we've got a bit of money there. Let's use that for that. But it all was merged in the same partnership. So I was kept creating more and more and more and more from that seed, because I was using existing cash flow rather than saying, can I have some more money, please? I was like, no, we'll just use existing cash flow. And at the time, paying myself very low wages. Does that make sense? So if I paid myself at that time a lot more wages, then we wouldn't have had the existing money to do that, where I go, I want to take a bet on this. And these were lower risk stuff, with starting certain things. They were 3,000s and 5,000s, not big money. But then because I spend a lot of time with consistency over everything I try and do, I look 5 years in the future. So I don't take the money off the table early. I rarely do any deals. Like if I get offered big deals and stuff, I often turn them down because I look at the future of those deals and what's coming down the road. Like I've been offered 6-figure packages from aggregators and stuff, and I turned them down because I see what's coming down the road and what would it look like for me in 5 to 10 years. And going back to your partnership thing, it is like a marriage, because Ellis, who co-owns Data, we're both founders of Databrill. We work so well because we're so different in terms of what we deliver to the table, and it's very hard for either of us to replace each other. So we complement each other. We're not got the same skill sets where we're trying to do the same work. It is completely opposite, and stuff like that can really work if the partners trust each other. It's like I'll run my side, he runs his side, and I don't meddle in his side, he doesn't meddle in my side. And that's the beautiful thing about it, because there's a mutual trust there.
Absolutely agree with you. So, and look, the part number 2 that you actually mentioned partially, you were saying, like, I was investing $3,000-$5,000 a month, which you consider not a big amount of money, but I can tell you it's a lot of money. Don't take me wrong, if someone asks me $3,000, yes, maybe it's not a big amount of money, like if we're talking just about the number. But if we're talking about specific business, this 3,000 may be a crucial amount of money to survive this business. You know what I'm trying to say? Don't evaluate based on your assets and power. Like, for example, my businesses, they are huge right now. But if we're talking about some small business that we're starting, $3,000, it's a lot of money for this specific business. Yeah. So I just wanna explain, because some people, they come into me and they saying, hey Dima, I need $70,000 to start. I say, like, I don't mind, but what's your business plan? Like, I have 70,000, but I have other ways to invest my 70,000. So don't take me wrong. It's not about my inability to extract 70K and invest. It's about my business decision to invest this wisely. That's why my companies are successful. So another bigger part for as well, Danny, that you also mentioned, you probably was working so hard. I don't know how much your partners was involved, but one of the biggest and the most important part, you have to pay yourself first. If you don't pay yourself first, at the beginning you have lots of motivation, and you have energy, you have vision, you have everything. But the moment you get trapped into the operations, then your motivation and your vision becoming it's shrinking. It's not because you're not becoming a professional, but at the same time, like we're all humans. We're not robots. We're not working by algorithm. We're working by emotions as well, and we can get tired, and we can get slammed with with not successful products or operations, or we're losing money because it's a business, and you have to pay yourself. Partners have to withdraw profits. So my perfect business model that I come up with that was successful in other businesses that I implemented was two biggest strategies that I come up with. Strategy number one: if I want to go into the partnership as a strategic guy, I have to acquire not more than 25% of the company for two reasons. Reason number one: the major stake of the company is still under operated partner, and he operates at 75% capacity, or better if he operates at 85% capacity, and I only own 15%. Because if it's 50-50, at some point my partner may decide, hey, it's a 50%, it's a big stake. He will try to look the ways to exit, to buy me out, to short my stakehold in the company. There would be lots of operations he may think to work against me, while he have to focus on growing the company. His focus will start to go away because now he feel the business built unfair. So, but if he has 85% and mine is 15%, first it will help him to keep continue going longer, stronger, more energized, because 85% feels like 100. It's so close to 100. So the second biggest part, it's a monthly withdrawals. You have to calculate. You have to be very clear on financial part, because any money can be invested in a company, especially in the startups. You can burn like millions of dollars, and you will find reasons to invest. Believe me, like any dollar can be burned. So, and one of the biggest problems with any business, it's continue growing until it collapsed. And sometimes people don't see a single dollar. Like people saying the biggest paycheck is when you sell in a company. I can agree at all and also disagree at some point. If you're not withdrawing money and not withdrawing profits, it means there's something wrong in your operations for a couple reasons. Reason number one, how I determine how to invest. All my profits that I make in monthly, I reinvest in a company in a balance of, if it's, let's say it's 50-50% partnership, okay, to calculate it's easier. So we get 100% profit. We divide this by half, 50% going back to the company for improvements, and we don't exceed this money. We rather grow slowly, but we don't damage this structure. And 50% go back to the partners payoff on a monthly basis, which will be divided based on percentage of your ownership. If it's 50-50, then it's going to be divided by 50-50. So, and that was my main idea. And when I got my first partner that I structured that way, we invested 5,000 together, and we grow that company in 1 year. We made $1.5 million profit. And that was the healthy company. We launched almost 300 SKUs because everything was done properly. So, and I've got other partnerships that was very successful after I learned that there is some formula. It's not a blind decisions. You're not making decisions based on emotions. You're making decisions only based on mathematical numbers. So if people come to me and ask me about investment, and then I see sometimes I take, let's say, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I work with them, I see how they operate. The moment I feel it's not going to work out, I exit. Doesn't matter how much it's going to cost me, because I know I'm going to burn way more energy and traction along the way, because this partner may eat too much of my focus, Maybe the partner is not ready yet. You need 1 year or 2 years to develop this person as an entrepreneur, and it's absolutely fine. The person can grow himself, then come back and become partner. It's absolutely normal. It's like, you meeting a girl, she is nice, but she's not the perfect to become your wife, but then the girl growing, now she's 18, she's too young, but then she's 23 and she's mature, and then you're like, oh my god, she's my best partner forever. So, but
Sounds like there's a story in there.
exactly. So I say, like, I'm talking from the experience, as I was saying yesterday, at one partnership, I would say, like, my family, like, I was not ready. So, but when I become ready, like, I formed the better family, and now we're happy and we understand how processes work. So it's okay to fail. We're learning.
I would say also it depends on the type of business. When it's inventory based business, there's a different structure to it, because you need cash to grow, and depends on how much cash you got, and your timeline to get there. It can be really hard with just seed capital, right? So you need an injection. But a service-based business, freelance business, everything else, I always look at it that when you start out, because I blew through 500,000 back in 2010, it was all on TechCrunch. It was like a social network music magazine that no one wanted, and it was everything to everyone in the crash of the market from 2008 to 2010, where ad dollars were down on spends. And what I learned from that is, based on service-based businesses, I just unbounced landing page, tested with Google, put landing page together, telephone number, and relied on telephone calls that came through, and worked out, is this a business or not, if it's a localized business. Depends if it's national, it's service-based versus products. So there are quick ways to find out if businesses work. And my key thing is, I've had lots of people that have come to me with business plans. For some reason, they always want 250K. I want to build this product. And I go, where's your customers? Where's your route to market? Where's it? And they don't have any, or they've got a load of stock, and it's like, go and get some pre-orders. Like, if you're going to go out to investors and stuff, show that there is some value there. And it's the same for people working as freelance. In the very beginning, you're selling your time, right? And that's not what you want to do long term, but short term, that's what you're doing. And so the quickest way of getting there is getting customers that are confirmed. Like, say, for instance, you run a conference, so do I. Yeah. I had to cash flow the first seller sessions because no one wanted to touch it in the very beginning for sponsorship. I had to carry that just on ticket sales, cash flow off the ticket sales, and negotiate deals leading up to getting the payments for the tickets as they came through to pay the supply chain and everything else. So I started seller sessions live on a very, very small amount of money. But then obviously come to the second and the third. Now it's like, I don't put seller sessions live together until I've sold the advertising. Once I've sold the advertising, I know that even before you've sold a ticket, with the variable costs, which can be adjusted, it's safe. Do you know what I mean? Or the money can go back to the advertisers if it doesn't work. So I like to start things outside of Amazon businesses. When I'm starting anything new, I focused on who is my customer and how quickly can I get that confirmation for a customer, and use as small amount of money as possible to get that movement going. Whereas some people go, I've got a business plan and I've got a logo, but I need 250K. Like, that just doesn't wash with me. And your biggest cost outside of product is human capital. And we've seen that with agencies and stuff. They grow. Right, account manager, give them 10 accounts. Account manager, 10 accounts. Account manager, 10 accounts. And their wage bill just goes out of control. And at some point, like you said, as they're scaling, that starts to top out unless you've got your numbers super, super tight.
I remember you touched few very important points, and we can start from any of them. Like for example, testing the market, then cash flow issues, proper operations, human resources, like everything that you just mentioned. They very, like, it's like a checklist to be successful. If you're missing some of them, someone have to cover this. You know what I discover when we just get started, like me and Lena. Just this morning we was talking. So now we yesterday I signed the new lease for a new warehouse that is 66,000 square feet. Yeah. So, and I tell to Lena saying, I don't know, like in England, do they calculate by square feet or they calculate by meters, square meters?
Meters, square meters.
Okay, it's 6,600 square meters. It's a big warehouse. Yeah. So, and today we was talking, okay, we have to hire the CEO for for the warehouse operations, and she said like, yeah, maybe it's going to be too much of expenses. I say like, listen, you have to accept one simple fact: we not anymore Dima and Lena company. We cannot just based on our energy operate anymore.
Yeah.
We have to have a solid, like bulletproof team and professionals. Like for example, right now we're looking. I have a project in software. It's called Sellerize for data analytics for Amazon sellers. Yeah, we're looking for a PR company or face of the Sellerize. Even I face right now. I try to find someone who will help me with the marketing and everything that goes with this. You know, like so I'm looking like I'm
I think
struggling.
I've got a good idea who it is, but we won't say it on the show. Yeah. I think I have a good idea who it is, but we won't say it on the show.
Oh wow! Listen, if you have someone, you know, like I will give you an amazing bonus to acquiring this person. Okay, so or at least okay, we will discuss this after the show. Okay. Anyway, so cash flow issues. A lot of people, you know what? Majority of the companies they fail and they gain in bankrupt just because they didn't get enough cash flow to survive the bad times. They was operating on a magic and future earnings, but they forgot that they have to pay rent on the first. They forgot the salary comes on the fifth, and these type of issues. And then I remember I was at one of the amazing events, and the person was speaking on a stage. He was doing $100 million a year, and he said to everybody, guys, you as a CEO, you have to take care of two things. Thing number one, to make sure your company survive. Thing number one, you always have to look for additional finances into your company, like better rates, bigger numbers, to make sure you can survive through the bad times. And thing number two, you never fuck your assistant, because it destroyed more company than anyone else. So and that's two rules. If you guys follow these two rules, you will be absolutely safe. Guys and girls too.
Guys and girls, of course. But you'd be surprised, even down to cash flow forecasting. Like, I'm no genius. I'm not a mathematician or anything else. I hate accounting. But even with our spreadsheets, effectively, I know where we are with each business like that within a few seconds, based on a handful of metrics. I've got the long spreadsheets that all the team complete, and it's then double checked on the numbers. Yeah, I just scroll all the way to the bottom, and I look, and I'll go percentage of revenue versus what money's been spent on the month, expressed as a percentage. A percentage in terms of how much have we got cash on hand, like how many months of cash. So it could be 8.5, it could be 15.2, etc., etc. Depends on what the businesses are. And then you just look at the inputs and outputs. And if I see a bump, then I can scroll up all the way through the spreadsheet and I can spot the mistake. But I think the problem is most people, by the time they sit down and do all their cash flow forecasting, and they've got to update it, you know, because you've got the forecast forward and then you've got the previous actual costs. By the time they've filled it out, they're exhausted. But if you've got a team in place that are taking care of that, you can actually see where your business is in very, very quickly, and you can spot the mistakes just by scrolling up in the bumps. Because I'm not an accountant, because I'm not a CFO or anything like that, I just know instantly on my business, regardless of how many payments and stuff are going out the door, if I look at those handful of metrics, I can look to spot for any mistakes, because that's effectively what we're looking for, because we want to visualize on the business, don't we? We want to run with the ball, we want to build things, we want to move forward and not get bogged down. And that's what's kind of kept me in a place where, what is my minimum effective dose? My minimum effective dose is to see those three metrics and see if there's any mistakes in there. But you'd be very surprised, even with Amazon sellers who have more complex business, multi-market and everything else, they're not on top of their cash flow by square mile.
Look, one of my I have two favorite books. One of them is the Richest Man in Babylon, and the second one, it's called Profit First. And if you need the guy's book Profit First, I can simply send you, because I have a PDF of this book, and that's one of the most important books you have to read. So, and it doesn't matter how much money you make and how struggle is it right now for your business, because I know, like, look, I seem positive person and very energized and all is cool. But guys, same as you, if you're an Amazon seller or whatever business you have, if you're a self entrepreneur, I'm same as you, every day solving problems. And every day I see some gaps in my operations and systems, even if I try to improve them all the time. So don't take me wrong if you feel like I'm a perfect operator or business owner or something. I have exactly same mistakes as you guys do. Maybe my scale at some point bigger, or maybe you listening to the podcast and maybe you're like $300 million seller. It's also possible. But look, if you don't try to build system from the beginning, by just getting more money, you will just increase the size of your problem, because you will take your problems to the next level. They may not be solved. So make sure you analyze the problems. Make sure you listen in podcasts like this. It's a podcast or it's a webinar? Like,
it's a podcast as well. We syndicate across. We do the dailies, these on Facebook, etc., and then we port to the podcast the following day.
Yeah, and if you guys feel you're the smartest girl or the guy in the world and you will solve this problem differently, I can tell you it's not. One day you will hit same wall, and sometimes unexpectedly. Like every time I have a meetups here, I have a local meetups for Amazon sellers, and someone come to me and they explain me how they're gonna do differently. I'm telling him exactly path of how he gonna grow in his business. And believe me or not, people coming to me and they saying, "What are you, visionary? How you was predicting everything?" I said, "Because I've been there, and I can tell you exactly step by step. Maybe I can miss like 1 or 2 points what you guys not doing, but I know exactly step by steps how you're gonna grow and what problems at what stage you're gonna face, because it's a business it's a business rules. They apply like that. I can simply go almost in any business, as like you say, Danny. I can look at your financials. Majority of the people, they don't even have financials. Guys, don't worry. 90% of people I'm speaking with, they don't have a clear financials. 95%, if to be clear. So, and it's absolutely normal. Majority of the people, they don't even pay taxes. Majority of the people, you know how they pay taxes? They go to the accountant and they ask an accountant asking, how much taxes you want to pay this year? And they say like 50K. And then they adjust the books. So don't, I know maybe it sounds weird and maybe you're one of them, but guys, don't worry. Majority of the people do like that. Just make sure you hear this information and you start to go to the right direction. You start to take one day out of the month to improve your financials. Maybe hire a consulting of how to put your financials properly, how to put forecasting properly. Start to go this direction. Start to improve your knowledge, become more professional, because believe me or not, you will not get to the next step until you improve this. Even if somehow lucky, you got lucky, you got 3 products that become successful, you get to the next level, you will be kicked out so fast, and it will be so uncomfortable for you to going down. Then just continue improving and be ready for this specific step.
But the bit I was going to step in with, where you could, like, I have to make up for my failures and my weaknesses. I'm a terrible operator. I'm not your safe hands day to day. I'm the guy that gets on the phone to solve problems, or on email, the internet, whatever it takes. I come up with solutions to problems. So I pay people. I'm pretty good with people. And I understand their perspective as well. And like what you were saying earlier on, is you don't sleep with your assistant and etc. etc. One of the other things is you can't be good at everything, but if you can be good with people and you look after your money will look after itself as well. And so by having people in place to fill those gaps, and I say it to a lot of people when they're trying to expand from a 1 to 2 person team, or to a 3 to a 4 and everything, the hardest thing they have is letting go of doing things. And I go, what are you doing? Oh, well, I'm doing reconciliation. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing reconciliation for? You pay a VA to do that. That's $10-12 an hour. You know, some people pay a lot lower, but pay them well, right? Take that off your list, that stress and that book, because if you're going to do activities that you hate, you're always going to put them off, right? So you focus on what you're good at, on what you like to do and what you have to do. You have to pay wages. You take control of the bank. Most of the other stuff, other people can take care of. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then you focus on the stuff that you excel at. And then your misgivings, your failings, you hand them over to a trusted member of the team. And if you're good with people, you show love, you respect them, you pay them well, you treat them right, 9 times out of 10, they will take care of you.
Yeah, you also there's an amazing book. It's called Who, WHO. Simple. I don't know if I can.
Is it on the shelf?
Yeah, it should be somewhere, So anyway, I couldn't. Maybe it's in my other office. So what I can tell you, you made a really good point. Delegation. And the book Who is teaching you how to pick right people in your team, because if you pick a wrong person for sometimes it's the right person but you just assign to the wrong seat. There's a book called Traction, just read it as well. I think we mentioned this yesterday. But anyway, getting the right people in your team will help you to unleash amazing power. And at the same time, if you don't know how to hire, let's say if you just work by yourself right now, because I know there's probably a lot of people who listen in the podcast, they're afraid to hire because they don't have enough finances or something. Guys, you can hire someone for $300 a month just to learn how to manage another person, how to delegate tasks. Just pay him salary. It's not a salary to this person. It's a monthly payment for your education, for your practice. Because one thing, it's reading a book and kind of understanding. That's why a lot of these business coaches, they fail in real business strategies, and they don't know how to turn processes into the money. Like, for example, my biggest I would say benefit, bonus, whatever. I know how to take any process and turn this into the profit. A lot of people, you will see a lot of people, Danny, who pretend like they're busy. They working like crazy, but they're not generating profits. And for one reason, they bring so much tasks on their shoulders. They pretend busy because they don't know how to make money or how to get to the next level. So, and you have to be honest with you. If you feel that you now slammed with the amount of operations, take one day off, analyze, does these actions really make you money? If they're not making money, maybe you get into this operational hole where you kind of pretending that you are busy, but you're really not making money. You're not making any progress. So I know it sounds more like a motivational stuff, guys, but it's all about your personality, because you guys can be so much more profitable if you will stop to do what you do on a daily basis. Maybe you do right things, I don't know. But from everyone who I've been consulting in the past, I've seen people really pretending like they progressing while they're not. So even me, like many years ago, I was doing exactly the same things. I was so busy dealing with the customer support and other stuff. I want to make everybody satisfied. And even my employees sometimes, I'm a nice guy, so I don't want to scream at you or somehow be uncomfortable. But you have to set a proper KPIs. And when you're speaking with someone, you just go by KPIs. Other than that, you can be a nice guy still. But if this person doesn't meet specific expectation that your company is required, then you have to evaluate this, help him to improve, or replace this person. That's simple. So otherwise, he damaging his career, and you damaging your your company and your potential growth.
Yeah, just want to answer Naomi's question here. I don't use software. We've got bookkeeping software for what we use, but for cash flow forecasting, we still use Google Sheets. We haven't got set up with implementing automation from pulling, but they manually put it in. But just to give you, depending on your size, and this can work for a small to a mid-sized company to a certain degree, but you need an accountant, a bookkeeper. And if you take on a part-time CFO, it doesn't have to be expensive. You can get CFOs in the Philippines that work 5 or 6 hours a week because they're relying on the work done by the bookkeeper. The accountant's doing the end of year and taxes, VAT in the UK and stuff. But you can have a bookkeeper that's doing all your reconciliation stuff, which then bumps up to the CFO, who then is overseeing everything and overseeing the bookkeeper. So you could have, depends on the size of your company, but your bookkeeper could work for 10 hours a week, for instance, say $10 an hour. And then your CFO could cost you $15 to $20 an hour, and they're doing 5 to 10 hours a week, which is on a variable. It's not a lot of money. And then you just meet with the CFO once a week, see where we are, how much cash we got on hand, when do these payment drops are taking place. And then you're looking over the sheets. You have your set metrics that you look at each week, or in some cases, some people are doing it daily. The reason why a lot of people will doing it daily is when they're leveraging their cash flow. Now, going back to what you're saying, Dima, I like to have cash on end. So I like to see in my sheets, like at least 8.5 months to 12 months of cash on hand. That's not always possible for Amazon sellers because the hungriness of inventory and the timelines between the re-up of inventory, it's very, very difficult. But if you've got other types of service-based businesses, there's normally money coming in on a regular basis to a certain degree. And if you can automate most of that, like on the subscription, that's really helpful as well, because it creates less variables that you're dealing with, and you'll be able to see consistent cash flow. But that's the basic setup, really. An accountant that's filing all your taxes are properly legit. A bookkeeper's doing all your reconciliation, invoicing, chasing money, etc., and a CFO that you meet once a week, even if it's only a few hours a week that you pay them, to really know what it is to run a small to mid to large, depending on their experience, companies.
Yeah, Danny, I absolutely agree with you. But let's say also, let's talk about other people who just getting started. For them, hiring three separate consultants would be like near to impossible, even if they do like one. Yeah. So let's speak on you guys just getting started. And I saw Noemi did a question about softwares and what we use to do cash flow forecasting. By the way, we was seeing Naomi and her beautiful husband Daniel just this weekend, and I was showing to her how to buy a cryptocurrency, and I was just showing her the difference between different apps and how much fees they charge. And I showed to her how to buy 10,000 worth of Bitcoin, just an example. And I thought I just show her example, but then next day I came back and I see, oh my God, I purchased this $10,000 of Bitcoin just by mistake, And by the way, it was awesome because it made me $900 extra profit because I was doing so. Naomi, it was awesome that I showed this cryptocurrency hack for you that just made me simply $1,000 almost over a few days. Anyway, speaking about the software, guys, there's two softwares that we use. One of it's called QuickBook, another it's called Xera. So it's most popular software.
Xera, that's what we use.
We use for majority of the companies to submit invoices. For Amazon calculations, we use my company Sellerize, which is we do data analytics, but mainly we have lots of beta programs inside that a lot of people don't have access. So you guys, if you ever want to be a beta user for some of our programs that we use, just reach out to me. I will give you access. It's absolutely fantastic software that we're building for everybody. And I also appreciate your impact because a lot of people come to me with the suggestions.
Yeah.
So then we keep continuing improving. Beside of that, Excel spreadsheets, the Google Sheets to test some ideas because business are different. Like some of businesses require more custom operations, and sometimes you feel like, hey, let's say QuickBook is not giving me clear vision of what I'm doing, or maybe you're not that professional at the QuickBook, but you can go on the websites like onlinejobs.ph. There's a bunch of Romanian websites that you have lots of professional guys. There's also websites in South America. If you guys need these websites, I don't know how they call. There's lots of websites that I know, but you can always reach out to me. I will give you the list of few websites where we hire people, and you can get people for like $300 a month. And if some people, they just getting started, but they're really smart. They know already how to use the spreadsheets. They know formulas. They know how to optimize things. So you can assign person to these tasks, and you will never worry about your analytics again. So you, as an owner, can analyze, but they can input the data. So data input is not that expensive. if you would think, But let's say if you want to hire someone like accountant, these guys are expensive. I would suggest you to hire them maybe hourly, or maybe find someone just
Well,
for
you
the tax
can
season.
do monthly. So, say in the UK, it might cost you, depending if you're VAT registered or you're a limited company or sole trader, they're in pricing structures so that it might cost you, say, £100 a month plus VAT. So
Oh,
you
really?
can either pay the year end and go to an accountant and they're going to charge you £1,200 to £1,500, for instance, as an example, or you can have monthly payments. They've got like micro business accountants that you can. I'm sure they've got them in the States and everywhere else. Just that's still an important role for being a legit company. It's one of those costs you can't avoid, but that's why you have a bookkeeper. You don't give your accountant to do the bookkeeping because they're billable hours.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you spread that cost, and the CFO, if you're not making 500k to $1 million a year, you don't need a CFO. That's just a vanity move. What's the point? The CFO's there for any complexity and helping you with growth and stuff like that. Yeah. But accountant in the UK, we need them really. You can file your own ones, but if HMRC comes back to you and you have to complete paperwork and you don't know what you're doing, you could get burned on that. But I see what you're saying. If you're only starting out, day one, right? Let's just say most people listen to the show are more advanced sellers. Yeah, they're not mostly, because this show isn't focused around new sellers, because a lot of the new sellers, there's a lot of podcasts out there that cater to them. So we normally do more the advanced sellers. But for new sellers, I agree with you. You just got to find a way of getting out there to make some money first. And
Absolutely.
then you worry about those bits a bit later. Because if you've got money, you find ways to pay who's due to be paid. Yeah.
I completely agree with you. And before we end today's podcast, because I see we're almost close to the 1 hour.
We can still keep going if you want. Yeah.
But I want to tell you guys one important part, and I want to remove this kind of wrong expectation. Like, for example, what I'm trying to say, guys, right now, where I'm going to. A lot of people, when they learn how many businesses I have and what type of services we provide, let's say we have a warehouse, 3PL Central, and we have events, and we have a software, and we have our like close to 20 brands. We have partnerships, we have a smoke shops, we have rental properties. So a lot of people, they come, they learn like one thing, and they think, oh, if Dima does this, probably this is a very profitable idea. So I'm going to jump on this. And now I'm going to give you two amazing stories, guys, that will remove this. I can tell you, from all my businesses that I have, by far, Amazon private label is the most profitable and easy to operate businesses. Like every other business, I will close with the blink of my eye, just because if someone will ask me to trade something for my private label business on Amazon, none of the services, none of the events or softwares will get even close to how much potential and how fast you can grow, and delegation and like there's so many benefits, guys, I can talk about, but maybe not on this podcast. But just trust me, if you even in a service businesses start to learn how private label business works, that's just amazing business model. Most of my friends who has $100 million plus companies, it's friends who has private label products. They was doing this for 5-7 years. But listen, with a service business, you may not ever probably get to $100 million per year, because it's near to impossible.
Unless you're Gary V. There's not many people, but because he's such a big, world-renowned person that's been building his personal brand since the 90s, late 90s. I agree, because the scalability is not there on service-based.
No,
business
don't take me wrong. I'm not saying that other businesses is not profitable. They are profitable.
Yeah,
but I'm just
scalability.
Saying, the scalability, complexity, the speed, the control, the sellability, how fast you can sell the business, the multiples, everything. The moment you will start to analyze and put things together, you will be surprised how much money you have to put down, how much risk you have. So anyway, there's a what stories I was thinking to tell about. Okay. So I used to sell a green tea. Yeah, I still sell the green tea, but I remember many years ago, it was product number one on the market. So I was, I think, number one or number two on the entire market for selling green tea. So a lot of friends learned that I'm selling green tea, and I was a very open person. I say, hey, I sell green tea. I sell green tea, and they tell me, Dima, what product should I start on Amazon? And I say, like, start any product beside of green tea. They was thinking I'm just trying to prevent them from being in competition. But I was explaining, guys, the resources that I have, you don't. And I'm not going to tell you what I have because that's my competitive advantage. Don't take me wrong, but it's a business, Some things I'm positive and open and I'm going to tell you, but you have to understand every company has something that gives them advantages. You have to understand this. So, and they was starting these green tea businesses. They was failing. They was coming to me saying, Dima, help us. I was saying, I told you, don't start this. There's nothing I can do to help you. They was upset on me. They was screaming at me. I was saying, like, but it was your decision. I told you, I was honest with you. Don't start this. And software companies as well. There's lots of friends I know that's thinking, hey, Dima built Sellerize. It's amazing business. Oh my God, the multiples are crazy. The moment they step into this game, 2 years later, I can tell you how Sellerize was built, okay? Just not to promote Sellerize, but just give you the sense of the risk that I was taking. About 5 years ago, one of my e-commerce directors who was managing my Amazon was saying, hey, Dima, we have 300 SKUs. Amazon giving us problems with removing images and other stuff. I say, okay, let's build a scraping system that will monitor all our entire business and give us notification if something happened. So I hired a team in Israel, like, to build the project. They said, like, the estimate would be like $25,000. I started to build the project. 2 years later, and $300,000 spent, the project was still failing. It was still lagging and having problems. I decided to close the project. So the Sellerize would not exist. But because I was having my meetups and there was one guy coming who was building amazing mobile application, he told me, Dima, I have a team of amazing developers and our investors fall off. Would you be willing to buy out the project? Because the guys, they don't know how to pay rent and they don't want to give up. So I buy out fully project, investor, everything they invested. I give everybody, give bonuses, and I buy out the project. And I did a merge. And 2 years later, I opened, basically 4 years later, and spent another $1 million. I opened a Sellerize. So if you have ability, guys, to wait for 4 years, hard work, money, focus, beside of that, there's way more work you have to complete and more money you have to invest. Then maybe you can get into the software business. Then maybe you will have ability to gain this benefits and wherever I already have it right now. So you have to think twice before you understand that you have this ability to go, even if you have investors. Because believe me, investors can stop investing once they feel something wrong. Or what other example I was saying? Oh, there was another guy who came to me. He saw my 3PL company. We have companies called ASAP Warehouse. So he worked for my company. He see how many clients we have and how much money we make potentially. So he decided to open his own 3PL company. And right now, he just called me yesterday. Like, he was coming here for, like, he come to me. He said, like, oh my God, how you acquire all these customers, so many boxes, so many operations, 30 people working. Like, it's amazing. What he did, he opened also 3PL company, but he didn't know all the insights that logistical business, it's very small margin business. If you guys think someone charged you $600 to unload your container, because probably they're spending $580 to unload this. So it's not about 600 because you're thinking it's a $600 profit. What I'm trying to say, make sure you understand the numbers, operations. It's not only about revenue, because majority of the people, they calculate in revenue, they calculate in future potential. But you have to understand, like, how much struggle you have to have between point A to point B. This gap between point A to point B are the more important than point B as a result. So that was what. That's what I was trying to tell you guys and prevent you from major failures, because starting 3PL doesn't require much it requires some energy, capital, of course, but believe me or not, from my personal experience, that's the most important. If you cannot compete on USA or UK market, start with Canada, start with Mexico, start to make traction, knowledge. Don't quit your job yet, maybe, and then continue progressing.
Yeah. So moral of the story is start small, but not think small.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's going to say back to your point about software. When I met Ellis in Germany at a speaking gig, 2017-18, Databril came out of it. He actually approached me and says, Dan, will you work with me? I want to start a software company. And I went, absolutely not. And I started a software company. And we started Databril with £1,800. That's how we got started, because it was go out, get customers. We focused on 7-figure sellers and above. So that's how we started Databril, £1,800. And that was to build a landing page. I already had the podcast. I already had main list and stuff. And we started with one customer, then two, then three, and just built it up from there. And so now we've got probably one of the most sophisticated technical backlines in the industry, without doubt, on the agency side, because most agencies can't afford to employ engineers. Does that make sense? So we grew slow, but like what you said is that you have to think about what can you do. And it's the same going back to that point with the people with, I want 250K. Here's my business plan. Now, most businesses, if someone says I want 250K, they're going to need 750 because it's going to take three times longer to get there, and they're starting with no product, with no proof, no social proof, no route to market. Yeah. So it's very important to look at all those factors.
Listen, absolutely, you can hear lots of successful stories, and because nobody wants to hear bad stories because they scare them, and people don't want to be uncomfortable. The moment if someone comes to your project and telling you like expert, and telling you, hey, close the project, do something else, what people saying? I don't want to hear this expert. I just want to. I will make it happen. So, and I can tell you, guys, how the companies go bankrupt. Everything seems okay in a company, and the moment companies start to lose money, you continue kind of trying to survive, and then you still have money to open another business, but you're trying to survive this because you already spent 3 years or 2 years of building it, or because you already placed the production at the factory, but someone tells you don't start this supplement, you don't have enough budget, and you don't want to give up. You rather to risk all your money than this 30% that you put down. So sometimes it's better to step back, eat the cost, and continue going another direction, guys. Because this is how the bankruptcy happens. People continue going until they're completely out of money. All their credit cards is maxed out. And guys, there's one of the biggest problem. Starting business from zero is not difficult. Starting business with $500,000 debt is the difficult, and I know. I used to be in a problem when I supposed to pay every month $130,000 in debt every single month. Before I make $1, I have to generate $130,000. I lost my entire business, and now I'm sitting and I'm thinking, what should I do to generate $130,000 when I have no credit lines, nothing, and I have to continue going? I have to pay bills, pay the debt, and make money. So, but I can tell you from all my experience, I can tell you guys, there's nothing that can stop you. Even if you get into the problem that you owe money to someone, maybe it's not. I don't like to say that, but when you owe money to someone, it's not your problem. It's the problem of that person who borrow your money, because now he have to make sure you will generate enough and give the money, because you can always apply for the bankruptcy or something. But that's why I'm saying, guys, before you go into any project, make sure you calculate this, make sure you get enough knowledge, make sure you analyze this well, and start to take chances. Even if you feel like you're failing, try to maybe consult with someone, maybe try to acquire some magic strategy. I don't know, like what's gonna happen to you. But a lot of businesses, they required years to become profitable and valuable to the market.
Indeed. Any final thoughts before we go? Any final thoughts?
No, all is good, like there's nothing we can add, beside of just add another like 15-20 minutes to the episode to add few more stories.
Cool. Well, look, it's been lovely to have you on. We'll get you back again soon. We didn't actually really get into this traditional in depth. It was more advice from someone who's failed and who's been super, super successful. Like, you're one of the 1% in the space. So congratulations on all your success. I'd like to ask you one last question. Legacy or money?
What's that? My English is good, but it's not that good.
Would you prefer legacy to be remembered, or would you prefer the money?
There's an amazing answer to it. Go to Tony Robbins event, and he gonna explain you the steps and stages of any person that building up. Like, at some point, I realized, like, I already making so much money. I don't need. I mean, like, I can make more, but I'm making enough to have a comfortable, awesome, happy life. So now my idea is to impact on world, help people. Like, right now, I feel power that I can support Ukraine. I can support deaf kids. There's some projects that we guys running that we usually don't say. I was saying at one of the meetups, we have one cool thing that we're doing in our company. Like, every holiday, we have about 80 employees. So we're telling to our employees, guys, if you want to go to some problem family, or someone who don't have parents, or you have someone who struggle with the financials, we can give you a $50 bonus. Just go buy them candies, fruits, whatever they need, like some products just to donate. And then we also, on top of it, we're gonna give you $50 to complete these tasks. If you don't want to participate, it's up to you. It's nothing wrong with that, maybe you feel not comfortable. And then everybody, after they complete this, they submit their pictures, how they take pictures with the kids, and it's really emotional when you see this, how much impact you can do. So let's say we have 80 people, everyone, because look, in some countries, like in USA, $50 is maybe not that much, but in a country like Philippines, Ukraine, or Brazil or Argentina, it's a solid amount of money. Like, you can buy a lot of things to just donate. So once you see this, you're like, oh my God, we're impacting like 300, 400 families every holiday, and people appreciate that. So it's a culture that you build around, and that's only can be happening if you have enough money to do this. That's why I grow. I don't want to stop. I want to have an impact and help others. That's my main goal.
So the answer to the question is that you're using money to create long-lasting legacy.
Absolutely.
Cool. We'll leave it there. What's the best way that people can reach you, Dima?
Facebook, guys. Facebook is one of the best ways. Sometimes I can lose your message, but I promise you, I will reach out to you once I see the message, and that would be the easiest part.
Excellent. Guys, thank you for joining us today. Dima, thank you for joining us. Sharon will be back in the chair tomorrow. Take care of yourself and your family. Much love, and I'll see you back here next week. Take care.